Okay, so this is episode 8 of Draw-Thru Season 1, and the last episode that talks about the games of Sonic the Hedgehog predating modern Sonic. Now this episode is going to be about Sonic the Fighters / Championship and Sonic R. The most lackluster way to kind of end the classic era of Sonic, but here we are, that's what they gave us, so this is what we're talking about. Now, as I mentioned in my last video, Sonic 3D Blast, hint hint hint, Sonic the Fighters is the actual first 3D Sonic game. And on top of that, they use a polygonal system instead of a pixel system, like they did in 3D Blast. So what is Sonic the Fighters / Championship? I'm only gonna call it Sonic the Fighters from now on because the full double name thing. Look, okay. So Championship is less violent than Fighters, so they changed it from Fighters to Championships for certain markets. It's dumb, whatever, move on. Sonic the Fighters, we'll call it Sonic the Fighters. So what is Sonic the Fighters? Well, it's an arcade game. It's a beat-em-up arcade game. Alright. Now remember in Sonic Oddballs Part 2 that Sonic punches himself. And I remember commenting that that was weird. Why would Sonic punch himself? But whatever, I guess.
And when one side wins, it punches the other side. Because when I think about Sonic the Hedgehog, I just think about how much he punched people.
But now they've made a game where Sonic punches other people, and himself eventually. So Sonic Fighters uses the engine of the game Fighting Vipers from 1996, just with Sonic characters plopped on top. Eventually, it got ported to Sonic Gems Collection, which is where I first played it. And then on to other ports. I think PS3 got it eventually, Xbox 360 too. But the first time it was ever seen outside of an arcade game was Sonic Gems Collection. And I remember sitting there playing it, just baffled. Like, what is this? Why does it exist? 8 Chaos Emeralds? Okay, so the game took me 15 minutes to beat, so it's not like we're gonna be here for a while. Let's just blow through it. So it's an arcade game, so it has to sell a lot of story really fast. So the animatic that shows on the screen when no one's playing it is a brief synopsis of basically the premise of the game. Dr. Robotnik, after the events of, I'm assuming, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, builds the Death Egg 2, which by the way looks really cool. There's a few assets in this game that I really wished had made it into other Sonic properties. Forgive me if they showed up in the comics. I haven't read any Sonic comics except for 3, which is weird considering I like comics, but I mean, when I tried to get into Archie comics, it was way too deep, way too fast, but the current Sonic stuff looks pretty good. That tangent aside, the animatic shows the Death Egg 2, which I said is a pretty cool design. It's got baubles all over the place, and then this character, who I can't believe has not shown up ever again. Okay, you don't have a bit of a soft spot for the Metal Sonics. It's pretty obvious by now, considering the fact that he's the main one I'm drawing right here, and I drew him in Sonic 2, I drew him in Sonic CD, I drew all the Robot Sonics from all the Oddball games. I like the mechanized versions of the main characters. I think they're cool, and it makes me a little upset that they didn't use Mecha Sonic number 29, this guy, in any other games, because he's cool. He's a Metal Sonic that transforms. I have a bit of a bias. Foreshadowing. So after 1.5 seconds, he bolts off the screen, and then we cut to Dr. Robotnik going, and he's coming back, blah, 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 Death Egg 2, basic premise, and then Sonic is like, this is not good, tap my foot, tap my foot, tap my foot. And then it cuts to a Tails rocket, which is cool. Again, bring it back. But they cut to a Tails rocket, then it says caution, single-seater. Why that's a caution, I don't know. Caution, single-seater, and it needs 8 Chaos Emeralds to power it. I'm over it by this point. They can't figure out their Chaos Emeralds. I know they probably only had 8 because they had 8 characters and 8 slots, and they needed 8 rewards for beating people. When you use the emeralds at the end, you don't even turn super. So this is basically, this game just doesn't count. So basically everyone has a Chaos Emerald and everyone wants to go, from what I remember, everyone wants to go and beat Dr. Robotnik for different reasons, but they all punch each other to steal the emeralds from everybody else. Fine, why not? Sonic Fighters, go. Just punch people now. Punch, 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 punch. This game is a spam game. You can basically hit the same button again and again and again. You should be fine for most of the game. It's the game's biggest downfall is there's not a lot of minutia to it, you know? So that is what it is. Basically go through 8 levels, fight 8 different people, The music's good, it's a Sonic game, and the music is solid. Wing Fortress Zone, I believe is the name of it. That's my favorite piece from the whole thing. Let's talk about those characters for a second. So who is our cast of characters? Well, obviously there's Sonic, there's Tails, and there's Knuckles. Cool, the trio. They're gonna be in here, of course they are. But then we have Amy, and this is pre-modern Sonic Amy, so this isn't angry hit it with a hammer Amy. This is, I love Sonic and I am the biggest fangirl, sweet and innocent, get captured by Metal Sonic Amy. So I don't really know how I feel about just... She blocks the entire time, she uses her barriers. Each character is given 5 barriers, and when that last barrier is gone, you don't have any barriers for the rest of that round. Then we have SBO the Chameleon from Knuckles Chaotix, nice little cameo there. Fang the Sniper / Knack the Weasel, again for region appropriateness. He shows up, he was from Triple Trouble. He's a well enough known character, mildly obscure, but not reaching too far, about reaching as far as SBO the Chameleon. But then we have Bean the Dynamite and Bark the Polar Bear. Bark, this is his first game and his only game. And then Bean is based on another character from another video game, but they Sonic-fied him. This is also his only video game until, of course, we get to Sonic Mania. You were saying it, you're already typing in the comments, like, what about Sonic Mania? Yes, Sonic Mania, Bark, Bean, and Knack Fang make their appearance. Well, they kind of do. Their other bad guys are disguised as them. We know the story if we're Sonic fans. If not, I'll talk about it eventually, probably. So if there's 8 characters and 8 stages, then who do you fight in the 8th stage? Well, each level has a character and they show up in that stage. It's the same order for the stages every single time you play it. Knuckles is number 1, and then, each person has their stage and it never changes. But once it comes time for your character that you've chosen for the campaign to show up in that order, Robotnik comes down and clones you and you fight a gray version of yourself. So let's just say you pick Sonic for your character in this playthrough. Sonic takes his 8 emeralds, plops it into the Tails rocket, shoots up to outer space to confront the Death Egg, numero dos! And who do you face in this sphere of evil? None other than the person foreshadowed in the very beginning of the game. Yes, it's none other than Mecha Sonic No, it's not, it's Metal Sonic, which I like. I like beating up Metal Sonic. Wish it was Mecha, or Rocket Metal as he's known. No, it's Metal Sonic, a lot of fun. You beat him up, boom, bang, bing. He's much harder than the rest of the folks, probably for that whole quarter swallowing aspect of the game. And then you beat him, for some reason that triggers the Death Egg 2 to explode in classic Sonic fashion. But before you leave, you fight Dr. Robotnik in a little mech suit that kind of spins his arms a bunch, and you have 15 seconds to beat him? Granted, it's really easy unless you slip. If you slip and he punches you, bad news bears on that one. You might lose the entire game and have to start over again. Frustrating, but that's the point of arcade games. They're meant to swallow your quarters. But chances are, you just spam the punch button enough times and you win. Yay! That's Sonic the Fighters, that's it. And then the credits roll and you put in your initials. Sonic, great, let's move on. Sonic R. No, Sonic Fighters is all right. It's fun, it's nothing. As I said, I beat it in 15 minutes. Just spam, just watch yourself punch characters. It's all right, it's fun. Oh, real quick before we go though. That character, the red one, Honey the Cat. She's based off of a Fighting Vipers character, the game that Sonic Fighters uses as a engine to plop itself on top of. Adorable character, showed up in the comics funny enough. Not a Sonic character, so I get that she doesn't show up anymore. But Honey actually never made it to the arcade or Sonic Gems collection. She was a cut character that later did show up in further ports of the game, but she's kind of like a little Easter egg. But that's what I wanted to draw here. I wanted to show some love for some of the forgotten characters of Sonic the Hedgehog. If they're not gonna put Rocket Metal in any new games, he's gonna be in my video. But let's move on to Sonic R, a cult classic of the Sonic franchise. Traveler's Tales came back from Sonic 3D Blast to make Sonic R. This time, instead of using a pixel system like 3D, they went the Sonic Fighters route and rendered our blue blur again in polygons. very pointy, non-rounded polygons. This is another game that came out on 2 consoles. This came out on Sega Saturn and PC. Of course, I played the PC one, which you can guess by now if you've watched any of the other videos. Sonic R is a racing game with 4 levels and an unlockable level, and 5 characters and 5 unlockable characters. You'll unlock those characters by collecting coins in each of those 5 levels. You find these coins scattered throughout the levels, and some are actually behind doors with a coin count on front that tells you how many coins you need to enter, a la Sonic 3D Blast, where you have to give your coins to a friend to go collect the emeralds. This game too, those doors hide both coins and emeralds. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let's talk about the cast of characters. Obviously, Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, boom. We have Robotnik, which is fun. We have Amy in a little cute, adorable car. I love it. It's a racing game. You and these characters go race around 4 different levels and you beat it. You come in first, obviously. Well, I mean, you try to come in first because it's a race and that's what you're supposed to do. So let's pretend you collect all 5 coins. What happens then? Well, you actually have to do the course again. This time against the character you've just potentially unlocked. First character to unlock is Metal Sonic, the classic, the favorite. And then the second character we'll come back to. Third character is, funny enough, the Egg Robos from Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the ones that showed up in Sky Sanctuary that later showed up as the big bad of the Knuckles playthrough of the exact same game. But it made sense for me when I was a kid because I had Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic CD, 3D Blast, and Sonic R, so he showed up in half of the games that I played as a kid. It made sense. Now fourth is Metal Knuckles. This, just like Rocket Metal, is one of those characters I would love if they brought back. He is so cool. Like, there have been other renditions of mechanized echidnas over the years, but none of them quite get that cold, soulless feeling that this one does. Because it's basically the same thing as Metal Sonic, but Knuckles. And Metal Sonic is great, thus it works for Metal Knuckles. It's really cool. And I wish that they came out with another game that had Metal Knuckles in it. There's a bit of a discrepancy because in all the promotional materials he has green eyes and a gold circle thing on the back of his knuckles, but the in-game model doesn't, and he has gold eyes instead of green eyes. I was very confused as to which one to draw. So I just went with the one that's usually more accepted, the one in all the promotional art. And then you have Puppet Tails, or Tails Doll. Tails Doll is an insult to Tails. I feel bad for Tails because basically Sonic gets a super cool robot. Knuckles gets a super cool robot. Tails gets a marionette, basically. A very unnerving marionette. If you look up Tails Doll or Puppet Tails fan art, some creepy stuff out there. But hey, it's a good job, and obviously it stuck with them. I think there's more fan art of Puppet Tails than Metal Knuckles by far, just because of that creep factor. Once you beat all the levels, you unlock the 5th one. It's basically a Rainbow Road knockoff. Supersonic Racing, that classic song plays. I love it. But if you've collected all 7 emeralds up to this point, you become Supersonic in the last level, which is actually kind of fun. But instead of racing against Robotnik, Amy, Tails, and Knuckles, you go against Metal Knuckles, Puppet Tails, Metal Sonic, and Egg Robo. And the aim of the game is obviously like all Sonic games, collect all the emeralds, beat the last level, that's the true ending. And again, just like Fighters, that's it. I mean, what else do you want? It's a racing game. Supersonic Racing, you did it. Now it's over. It's fun. Takes about 50 minutes for me to beat. I mean, these games are really not much of anything, so it's kind of very anticlimactic to end the first season on these games, but as I said before, that's what they gave us, so that's what I'm working with. But before we part, I do want to mention a few extra little details about Sonic R. Detail number 1, the footsteps. I don't know why I think it's so funny, but every time you start a race, the announcer says, go! And you just hear this little of Sonic running. It's adorable. And you just hear it in the background all the time. So I hope you like that sound because it's everywhere. And the ring system in this game is actually very well implemented. In the main games, Sonic collects rings to stay alive. what use is rings in a racing game if there's nothing really to attack you, if not to stay alive, is to unlock sections of the level, and it powers speed boosts. So there still is a in-game reason to collect rings and for the rings to even be there in the first place. Rings are a staple of Sonic, so it's good that they managed to incorporate that into the game, both as a incorporation of a Sonic icon as well as an actual gameplay mechanic. So good job. And finally, steering is the hardest thing in this game. If you've played it, you know. But thank you once again. Hope you've enjoyed the artwork. I did 2 pieces for this one. I like them both. I'm happy with them because it brings forward those characters that I feel don't get a lot of love in the Sonic fandom. So here they are. Thank you so much for joining me in all these videos about the classic Sonic games. From the highs to the lows, from the goods to the bads, from the Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic CDs to the Sonic Erasers and Sonic Spinballs. I will not change my opinion on that. I do not like that game. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll see you next time for a completely different topic. Perhaps. I may have one more thing to say, but we'll find out. We'll get there when we get there. It's time to call this one done. It's hot in here.